Okay, hello and welcome to Expium's Expedited Explanations, our weekly Atlassian Update edition. Today we're talking to Wade Cornett and Vicki Murphy, both Atlassian certified professionals at Expium, about the upcoming changes referenced in the June 6th to June 13th blog post. My name is Elizabeth Wheeler, and let's get started. So, Wade, first thing mentioned in the article, we're talking about the Atlassian Cloud, and I'm reading that we're able to control the workflow more easily. Can you explain more about that?
So yeah, I think the workflow regarding user provisioning and authentication. Yes, some big updates coming. Now you're going to be able to add more than one identity provider to your Atlassian organization. So the idea behind that is to have two directories for managing users, one being a local directory and then the other being your identity provider directory. The key changes really there are that they're moving the user login and sync to a new identity provider screen. We don't know what that looks like today, but those changes are going to be rolling out. And then you'll now have two new authentication policies by default, one being, again, for your local directory and the other for your identity provider. And then lastly, you'll be able to actually automatically associate your domain's users with that linked directory.
Awesome. Do you think this is really going to have much impact on end users on their day-to-day work?
No, it's not. I mean, end users aren't going to be impacted by this at all. It's just going to be your security teams and your networking teams,
Gotcha.
as well as your site admins.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Cool. Thanks, Wade. Thank you, Vicki. And now let's see, into JIRA World. It looks like we're getting a new request type configuration. Wade, can you explain more about that for us?
Yeah, so Atlassian hasn't given us a whole lot to work with here, but what I imagine is going to happen is, Atlassian recently acquired Proforma and changed that to Forms, which you'll now see in your project settings. I think the idea is to actually merge the form creation into the request type creation. So rather than having two separate settings, you'll manage your forms right in your request type that you're actually configuring.
And that's just really in JIRA Service Management today, right?
Yes,
Like the forms is kind of siloed there right now.
Yeah, certainly. So that's only a JIRA Service Management functionality right now. I think that could change, especially with the changes coming to work management. You see a lot of forms being used over there.
Mhm. Awesome.
Very cool. Vicki, I see that we are going to get new screens for importing both in server and in cloud. Can you elaborate more on that for us?
Yeah, so historically, whenever you've wanted to import a JIRA server or data center or a cloud site into a new cloud site, you really had one page where we did that from, the site import or restore system option. Now they are splitting that into two, making it very clear where you import in a JIRA server file or a JIRA cloud file. They did mention that this is due to their recent announcement where the site import won't be available for all user profiles. So this is meant to help you understand which users will be impacted with that. And I also wanted to mention they've been also rolling out a new cloud to cloud migration functionality. It's supposed to really help us be able to migrate specific projects, which is really nice if you have multiple cloud sites you're trying to combine or one that you're trying to separate as well.
Got it. I mean, anything that they can do to enhance experiences around migrations is so helpful right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
really looking forward to the Cloud Migration Assistant being fully up and operational for the cloud migration.
Definitely.
I cannot wait for that. Let's see, the next thing getting my attention, Wade, I see that previously the maximum number of child issues has been increased. So I guess it used to be 100 and now it's 500. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so you were always able to have more than 100 child issues on your issues. but you weren't able to visualize them. You'd have to visualize anything more than 100 using a filter or a dashboard. But now they've increased the number of issues that you can actually the number of child issues that you can actually visualize from 100 to 500. Of course, you can still have more than 500 per issue, but you will still have to use those in a search or in a filter.
Do you think this is going to impact across the full hierarchy? I know child issue is a lot of times really specifically talking about that story to subtask level, but we're seeing a lot of increased use of like epic and stories being parented. How do you think that's going to impact across the hierarchy?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Vicky. With the changes coming to parent-child relationships, it's kind of hard to say what will be included in this change. But I think we'll probably put a video out later, showing what those changes look like.
Yeah, I also want to mention we do already have a video on those upcoming changes to Epic, specifically how it's going to update the links involved, the Epic name field. So we'll go ahead and link that in the description. Feel free to check that out if you aren't quite sure what we're referring to with those upcoming changes.
Absolutely. Thanks, Wade and Vicky. Okay, moving on to JIRA Service Management. So Wade, I know in this realm, knowledge-based articles are a big deal. What do you expect with the improvements in the new view?
Yeah, so Atlassian's really been working a lot on their knowledge base settings, really around who can actually edit knowledge bases, and as well as how they're displayed to customers. So with that, they are actually going to be increasing like the view of the knowledge base out on the portal for customers to view that. So it's just really going to be a bit of a wider canvas for them to really visualize things like charts, graphs, as well as images better in that portal view.
I know that's a question we get a lot on a lot of our Confluence engagements is how to maximize that view over or what they can really do to change that. So I think it's a really great update, even if you're more in the Confluence world.
Yeah, it'll definitely
JIRA Service Management
be nice to see.
Awesome. Next one, I see that Atlassian is implementing a new compliance setting to send safer notifications. Wade, what can we expect there?
Yeah, not fully certain, but the update does say that there will be a new compliance setting in project settings for your JIRA Service Management projects to really control the notifications that are going out. So I think the idea here is to really push the users to the portal to view the requests that they're actually raising. So this setting allows you to hide the issue summary, the description, comments and attachments from the email notifications that'll be going out to work, towards that, compliance, meeting compliance for your organization.
This seems to be a great step forward too in the Atlassian cloud products on their journey to be HIPAA compliant, which I know is on their roadmap, right?
I agree with you. I think that's really where this is coming from.
I cannot wait for that. It seems like there are a lot of people waiting to migrate to cloud until that item is
I know we saw
achieved.
I know we saw a lot of that out at Summit, people asking about HIPAA compliance, and they did mention it a couple times, so it still is out there on their roadmap.
Excellent.
And they definitely have focus there.
Excellent. Let's pivot to JIRA Work Management. Vicky, I see that collaborative mode is here. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the update on this was kind of slim, but I expect that this is bringing in some of that collaborative functionality we know and love from Confluence into JIRA Work Management. I think it's going to allow us to see multiple editors on an issue at one time, which I think will be a really great update to the tool.
Yeah, I mean, is that different than what is currently happening?
I think it will be, mainly because if it wasn't an update, or if it's an update, I assume it's going to be a little different. Currently, you can have multiple editors on an issue, but we wouldn't be able to see it. So if you and I were editing an issue at the same time, we'd kind of be on different issues almost until we update, and whoever updates last is really going to have that final version of the issue. Of course, there's always the history that we could go back to see who made what change. But I think this would allow us to really both be on an issue at the same time, both edit it together. And I think this is just Atlassian pushing towards really having that team-based collaborative tool, especially in this dispersed workforce that we're in. So we'd be able to really be working together without being directly together.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's going to be a really great update, honestly.
That will be amazing. That is definitely one of the things I love about the Confluence tool is that it is able to do that. And speaking of Confluence, I am seeing that we can expect to be able to invite folks who are external to the instance to collaborate with us in a Confluence instance. Vicky, what can we expect to see there?
Yeah, this has been something Atlassian's been talking about for a while now. It's now a part of the early access program. If you have a premium plan with JIRA, you are able to, with Confluence, you are able to be a part of that early access program. But what it's going to allow us to do is invite external users to be a guest. I believe this will be without them having a license, and it'll be really useful for anybody who's trying to collaborate with like clients, vendors, or even contractors who just aren't a part of your normal instance, I guess. They will have stricter permissions, so they'll just be able to access the space you give them permission to. They won't be able to view user information, so things like user profiles and emails of your, Atlassian's calling them regular internal users. They'll be blocked from seeing that. It'll be more of a restricted view, but allowing you to collaborate with them, even if they're external to your organization.
Yeah, that sounds pretty close to what we were seeing over on the ITSM side of the world with the updates to the knowledge bases. So now with the recent changes that have rolled out, I would say about a month ago, JIRA Service Management agents actually will be able to update and maintain knowledge base articles without actually consuming a Confluence license.
Okay, yeah.
So I wonder if that's, the same push there.
Yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah, getting more people to use the tools is always, I think, Atlassian's goal. So great.
That is awesome. It looks like we've got a lot of things to talk about in this tool. And Vicky, another one for you. What about the ability to be able to turn a table in Confluence into a chart?
Yeah, so this was something that was demoed at, I think, Teams 2021 as well as Teams 2022. Whenever I saw those demos, it seemed like some really clean functionality within the editor, where once you have a table created, you can actually turn that table into, it says, a bar, line, or a pie chart. And it seemed like a really quick button that you could just push in the editor. Of course, once it rolls out, we'll have more details on exactly how to use this function. It also says in the update that the table will be connected to the chart. So if you update any of the data in the table, it'll update the chart automatically.
Oh man, that would be nice if they could incorporate that to a widget over display on dashboards.
Yeah, I think
really cool to see.
I think the options are endless, or the opportunities really are endless for Atlassian. So we'll see how that impacts other tools as well.
That is amazing and a huge step forward for the teams who are trying to shake those standing status meetings.
Definitely,
I'm just glad to see Confluence getting some love here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've got more of it. So, Vicky, I'm going to throw this one to you again. Drafts in the Confluence tool. We're going to see some updates there. Can you help us to understand what we are expecting?
Yeah, so drafts have been a functionality with Confluence historically. Only the way that you located those previously has been under your profile. And I know we were talking about this update, Elizabeth, and you mentioned something I've heard from a lot of Confluence users, which is once I create a page, if I X out of that on my browser tab, I can't find it again. And so then I have to start all over. And really, Confluence was saving a draft. You just had to go to your profile to really find that. And they're changing that now in cloud. Whenever you make a draft blog or a page, it's going to just add it to the sidebar of that space. anyone who has the ability to edit in that space, so with the space permissions as well as page restrictions, will be able to update that draft as well. I think it just makes it even more of a collaborative tool that we're all able to see those drafts. A couple other things they mentioned, to keep the sidebar clean anytime you make a blank page, so any page that doesn't have a title, body content, permission changes, labels, etc., is just going to be removed. It's going to be considered blank if you X out of that on your browser. It's just going to assume you didn't mean to make that and delete that for you. And you can also still find drafts under like your recents and your home page as well.
That's great. I know I'm constantly forgetting to press
Yeah,
publish.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I
think
was
it'll
just
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm really excited that the PO for the tool or for the team who was doing this thought about that exception scenario.
Yes.
I did not think about that, but I love that we're not just that left-hand menu isn't going to be weighted down with all of those. That's
Yeah.
super cool. Our last one for today is about the showcase, or the ability to showcase a page and a blog. Vicky, can you take us home with that one?
Yeah, so Atlassian is rolling out a presentation mode for our pages or our blog posts. I think this is really great. We're really big proponents here at Expium of using Confluence as a reporting tool, especially with all the integration with JIRA, advanced roadmaps, and other Atlassian tools. And I think this just makes it that much more powerful. So whenever we enter presenter mode, it says it's going to switch it to a full screen view of the page, and it's going to remove the side panel, any of the menus, as well as inline comments. So you just have a really sleek, clean presentation. Something that I really am kind of excited about with this is they say that there will also be a QR code that your audience can use to follow along with you in your presentation.
wow.
So I think that's going to be really cool. Again, helping us use Confluence as a reporting tool. And it does tell us where we'll find this presenter mode, which is in the overflow dropdown, which is on the top right of any of your Confluence pages. So look out for that update there.
Got it. I cannot wait. So thank you to Wade. Thank you to Vicky for your Atlassian expertise. Again, these are the items from Atlassian's June 6th to June 13th updates to cloud that we at Expium think you'll be the most excited about. For more details, the full article is posted in the description, as well as we'll add the link that Vicky mentioned about the changes that we can expect in JIRA Epics. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get notified when we release new content. I'm Elizabeth Wheeler, and from all of us at Expium, we'll see you next time.